Well, hello. Sorry, I couldn't tell if I was live or not. Okay. Hello, ALBW, wherever you are. I am Pat Esgate, and I'm the lead organizer of Van Lister Birthday Week, also known much more as ALBW. And I am really excited about unveiling this year's events because we have some very special things in store for you. Now, before I get started, I want to share something with you. 54 years ago, I and some pals got in the back of a panel truck and drove through the night to New York City. We'd started the first gay liberation group in Southern Indiana, and we'd heard that there was going to be a demonstration celebrating the one-year anniversary of what was then called the Stonewall Rebellion. When we got there and opened up the back of that panel truck, none of us was prepared for what we saw. We had never seen that many gay people in one place before. And I'm only talking 3,000, but to us, who up to that point had thought we were the only ones in the world who felt that way, it was mind-boggling. And of course, now for Pride, you'll see 3 million people lining the streets of New York City. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because that weekend was completely transformative for me. It taught me the power of community. And that is why ALBW is based on that. I want each and every one of you to know what it feels like to be surrounded in love, in joy, and the sense of the power that we hold together as a community. So, without further ado, let's get going and talk about ALBW. We've got a lot to cover. First, a backgrounder for those of you who may be brand new, and I know a lot of you are, especially if you're watching this a little later on our YouTube channel. This is our third ALBW, the first two having been canceled due to COVID. So we actually would be on 5 now if it weren't for that. And this isn't just a US or UK thing. Last year, we had representatives of 18 different countries. ALBW is an international phenomenon, and I really want you to be there to experience what that feels like, because it's amazing. Now, we've got a lot of big news to share with you. First and foremost, we know how you all have had to juggle your schedules every year to figure out what was going on in ALBW and what was going on with any of the events that Calderdale put together. And oftentimes we overlapped, and it meant that you couldn't do one if you wanted to do the other. So over the last year, our friends at Calderdale and myself and Cheryl at some periods of time have been part of an ongoing series of meetings where we shared our information about what was happening, how it was happening, et cetera. So the approach was that ALBF, the Ann Lister Birthday Festival, which you'll be hearing more about in a little bit because Rachel Lappin will be coming on, was going to be the overarching event that runs from Monday to Monday. And ALBW would be nestled within that. We run from Wednesday through Sunday. But there will be events all week long, and we'll be talking about that. The other thing you're going to notice, all you ALBW veterans, when you open the event guide, is that many of the events that you've come to know as ALBW events are now going to be found over in the ALBF event program. And I'm going to tell you how to navigate all of that. Don't worry, we'll get to that. But they're going to be running a lot of the walks, talks, and tours that we normally have done in the past. But we have still saved a couple of them that you're going to be hearing about in just a minute. And we've also held on to everything that has to do with our community and celebrating that community. Now, and we have planned them to the best of our ability so that they don't overlap. So you're not going to have to worry about that anymore, which I'm very pleased about. Now, there are 3 legs to our Ann Lister Festival over that period of time. As I just said, there's Ann Lister Birthday Festival from Calderdale. There's ALBW, woohoo, and there's also the Ann Lister Society. Those 3 things are running throughout that week, and we've made sure that you can figure out how all that's happening. So now the event guide, Jen, you can put that image up. There it is. The event guide is going to be available right after this live. We are going to use, I'm going to give you both a QR code and the link to it at the end of this event to tell you where you can find it and download it. You wouldn't be able to get it now because we actually have the website turned off until we're done with this, because we want to keep your attention. Being a little on the ADHD side, I know how that works. Okay, so let's get to the what. We've talked about the who. As I've said, ALBF is going to be handling many of the talks and tours, but we have some really special ones, and this one is the one that I am so excited about I can barely talk to you about it. This all came about this last summer or spring, whenever I was in Halifax. We met with the right people, and we have created for you what I am referring to as the Ann Walker trifecta. Now, first and foremost, how many of you have wished that you could see the inside of Cliff Hill or see the inside of Lydgate House? Well, guess what? You're gonna. We've put together a 2.5 gentle walking tour that will be led by none other than Ian Philp, the absolute expert on Lightcliff. You will have the opportunity to go inside of Cliff Hill, see the drawing room where, which was used in Gentleman Jack, by the way, but also where Anne and Anne would sit with Aunt Anne when they would have tea together. So you're going to be able to see that space up close and personal, and also the staircase where, as many of you know, that odd painting of someone who people thought was Ann Walker hangs. Lovely, lovely place. And I couldn't thank the owners, David and Janice of Cliff Hill, any more than I possibly can for allowing us to do this. Now, the second thing is that you're going to take a little walk and you're going to Lydgate House. The new owners of Lydgate House reached out to us. They were interested in finding about the connection with Ann Lister, et cetera. And they decided to allow us to come in and see the house. Now, Lydgate has been divided into separate sections, but the section that you're seeing was very definitely a part of the time in which Ann Lister was courting Ann Walker. And no, it wasn't at Crow Nest. Ann Walker was living at Lydgate at that time. So you're going to get a chance to see that, and you'll see the first floor, and you'll be able to go downstairs and see where I fully believe the Madeira was stored, because it sure looks like a wine cellar to me. So that is, oh, and then you'll proceed to Lightcliff Cemetery, where you'll be allowed inside the tower to see the memorial, the recently restored memorial plaque to Ann Walker. And you'll also get to view where Ann Walker was buried. And there's some interesting things happening on that note, by the way, too, but we're not talking about it yet. It's not mine to talk about, but hopefully we'll have some news on Ann's grave at some point in the future. Now, the next thing that I'm very excited about is another event. We're bringing two of the most well-known Ann Lister-related writers together to talk about their very long, decades-long relationship together, which is Helena Whitbread and Ann Choma. We are going to be able to sit down with them for an hour and a half in the Cagill rooms and chat a little bit about all the time that they've spent together and the things that they've discovered about Ann, and especially about the trip that the two of them took to Paris to follow in Ann Lister's footsteps. And can't you just imagine this? Helena Whitbread and Ann Choma wandering around in Paris. I'm really excited about this. So that's, another event that we've got going on. One of the third things we're doing is we are having an evening with Sally Wainwright at Square Chapel this year in the big auditorium. And Sally and I are going to sit down and talk about not just Gentleman Jack. We will talk about that for a short bit, but we're really going to focus in on Sally's entire connection to West Yorkshire and the other things that she shot there. And we'll also talk about her new program, which should be filming by then, which is now being called Riot Girls. So very much looking forward to seeing Sally. And Sally's been a big supporter of ALBW, and we thank her for that always. Another special event that we've got coming up is there's going to be an update. Many of you attended last year the workshop that we did on where is Ann Lister in the Minster. And we ran down the entire process of what we'd been through in terms of trying to find her. I have to report to you that we have what we think is some extremely exciting news on that front. We're still running down a few things to make sure that we know what we're talking about there. But in any case, I'm hoping to be able to shed some amazing light on what we think we've found by that time. So Ann Lister in the Minster, another workshop this year. And also this year, again, we will have our Film and Festivities Night. And during Film and Festivities Night, you're going to be treated to a few things. You're going to see the last piece of Christine Sanders' performance poem, Women. So you've seen the first two legs of that at the last two ALBWs. And we also have Vicki Clark. And hold on, sorry, I've lost my notes here. It is Vicki Clark and Erin Quillen. Sorry, wanted to make sure I got the second name in. They have created a two-hander play, runs about 25 minutes. It's a conversation between Anne Walker and Mariana Lawton after Ann Lister's death. I'm very excited to see what they've come up with that, but not quite as excited as I am about our third piece, which is the premiere of Gemma Jacobs' new film, a follow-up to her first one called Gentleman Jack Nation, We Rise Above It. And I've asked Gemma to come on for a few minutes and chat with us about that. So come on in, Gemma.
Hello, Pat.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Very busy, but very good.
Yeah. So you have been traveling all over the place the last year, right? Trying to get in the can, so to speak.
Yes, I have been up in Halifax a few times. I've dragged Ollie up there, I think a total of three times. Ollie is my cameraman who I have this year been spending a lot of time with. He is Becky Payton's son, for those of you who know Becky. And then I have also been in the US. I did an interview in LA. I did some in Arizona, in Tucson, whilst I was there for the screening of the first film. So yes, I've had a very busy year since the last ALBW.
So tell me quickly, or not quickly, but just a brief bit on why it is you decided to do a second film. What were you trying to burnish from your first one?
Yes. So the first film, I feel, was very much my kind of, I would say, my love letter to the community. It was our story because I didn't think it had been told yet, and I thought it needed to be told. So it was very much a telling of what we've created with ALBW and everything else. And with this one, I kind of want to make it more, honestly, I want to make it a kind of testament to the people who created the show, Sally and Saran and Sophie, and everyone involved, to kind of show them, look, this is what you did. This is what you did for all of us. Because, you know, we still don't know if we're going to get a season 3. And I think it's important for people like that to realize the impact that they have. And the people I've spoken to, like, their stories are amazing. And I honestly can't wait for all of you to hear them as well.
Oh, I couldn't be more excited. I was blown away by your first one, which, as most of you know, it was Gemma's first time for ever trying to do anything like that. Sally saw it and said, you know, you need to make another one. And so here we are.
Here we are.
Well, and what a great place to premiere it. We thank you for that.
Yes.
We're going to be able to show.
No. I'm very happy. I feel it's the home of my films, ALBW.
Wonderful. And Gemma, I want to thank you for coming on. And I'm going to promise you that this year, if someone delivers flowers, you will actually get them.
Don't worry. Don't worry. No.
So, well, thanks for coming on, Gemma. And
no problem, Pat.
Bye-bye. So, Gemma and her new film. Very excited about that. And of course, I don't want to not mention the fact that, yes, we will be having our birthday bash on the last night of ALBW, which is Sunday. That is our big dress-up event. So please bring your Ann Lister, Ann Walker, Mariana Lawton, George, whoever you want to be. Bring that along, and let's see if we can really get things going on Sunday night at the very end, where we celebrate us. Okay. Now, next leg, Ann Lister Birthday Festival. Before we get started, I want you all to know that we're going to be talking about the Ann Lister Birthday Festival program. They have their own event program, not unlike our event guide. You will be able to link to that from the same place where you're going to be picking up the ALBW program, which, as I said, at the end of this will give you the link to that. So you'll be able to download both of them, which is a great big start. So now let's get you caught up on everything that's going on by bringing in the Ann Lister program coordinator for Calderdale, our very own Rachel Lappin. Hello, Rachel. You're muted.
Whoop. No, Pat, I was just testing. Hey, you okay?
There you go. Hi, good afternoon.
Hey, Pat, good to see you.
Good to see you. So, Rachel, this is really momentous, I think, what's come to pass in the last 5 years, right? That we've kind of run the whole gamut, and now we're coming together in this one beautiful little space. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on with the Ann Lister Birthday Festival?
Yeah, thanks for that, Pat. And yeah, I couldn't agree more. It is really exciting that the Ann Lister Birthday Festival, we've talked about this for the last couple of years and it has caused some confusion, but the overarching Ann Lister Birthday Festival, which will incorporate Ann Lister Birthday Week. The festival runs from Monday the 1st of April through till Monday the 8th of April. And of course, it will incorporate the fantastic Ann Lister Birthday Week and the wonderful, and we're so excited to welcome again the Ann Lister Society. I know we're going to hear from the one and only Professor Laurie Shannon very shortly. We're looking forward to that. And as you say, we've got lots and lots of events as part of the festival. Some events that people who have been over the last couple of years to Halifax might recognise as previously being part of the birthday week. We've got walks, we've got talks, we've got tours, we've got workshops, and yes, I think we've got around 70 events that I've pulled this program together, yes, of course, but it is all, as you know, Pat, you attend a lot of the meetings that we, as in the Calderdale steering group, have fortnightly at the moment, monthly, depending on the time of year, and it is all down to our wonderful partners, our Ann Lister partners across Calderdale, who have put together, I think, a fantastic program. I am utterly delighted. I genuinely, if I picked this program up and saw it, I would be so excited, and I would be signing up to all of the events I could over the week. And I know we've got an at a glance guide, which hopefully you'll all be able to see. As Pat says, there it is. Thank you very much, Jen. So we've put it all onto one at a glance guide, and you'll see the QR code there. And interestingly, very excitingly, I hope you'll see as well, there is a new website. We have launched a new website, and we're about to, at the end of this this live, we will be launching our new website, Ann Lister of Halifax. Get it, Ann Lister of Halifax.co.uk, and that will be going forwards the home of all things Ann Lister in Halifax and Calderdale, as it says. Thank you very much, Jen. And so you can zap that QR code, and that is the website. And on that, you will also find, similar to what Pat's just described on the ALBW website, the full programme for the Ann Lister Birthday Festival programme, and also the full ALBW programme, and also the full ALS, the Ann Lister Society programme. So on this Ann Lister of Halifax website, you will find all three full programs. It'll be across the top. It'll say full event program for hours. Woohoo, as Pat would say if it was ALBWs. There'll be an ALBW tab, and next to that there'll be an ALS tab. So because we're not in competition, we all work for the one same goal and aim, and that is to tell everybody we can, whether you want to hear about it or not, everything we can about that wonderful, wonderful hero of all of ours, Ann Lister. And for us, we just want you to come to Halifax. Pat said about the hundreds of people from 18 different countries who came to Halifax in April of last year now, of course, 2023. And we want to see lots and lots of people again, old friends, people who have been before, and new friends as well. And whether you've been before or whether you haven't, you'll be welcome. And there are lots of events for you to take part in.
So let's talk about, you said you had 3 or 4 special events that you wanted to give a brief overview of. So let's do that.
Yeah, so we've got, I mean, there are 70 odd events, but there are, I suppose, just to pick a couple of highlights. There's a really exciting event taking place on the Wednesday evening. When you go to the festival programme, if you look on page 9, I think you'll find that on Wednesday evening, which will be Wednesday the 3rd, Anne Lister's birthday, in fact, her 233rd birthday. In the evening at Shibden Hall, we have a music event. And that event will be a wonderful, wonderful performer, Lisa Timms, and she will be playing a period piano. And she will be playing music of Anne Lister's time, music that we know that Anne Lister herself listened to. And you will be able to hear that music being played in Shibden Hall live. It's a Regency Square piano. And I say we'll be reproducing music that we know Anne herself played. Lisa will be available for you to talk to her about the music. And of course, you will be very welcome to dress in period dress for this event. It'll be a really special, intimate evening. And there will be refreshments as part of your ticket price. So that's on the Wednesday evening, Anne Lister's birthday at Shibden Hall.
I think that just sounds terrific to me. I absolutely want to get a ticket to that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. There's going to be a hot ticket, that one, Pat. There's only going to be quite a limited number, obviously, for those people who have been to Shibden before. You'll appreciate it's quite a small space, and it won't just be a kind of free-for-all. It'll be a limited number. I think our colleagues in museums have pulled an absolute blinder on that one. And yeah, like you, Pat, I think that's going to be the hot ticket in town, certainly that day. We've also got the fantastic, some of you may have heard of, Rachel Whitbread, the daughter of the more famous Helena Whitbread. She's already had a mention as Helena, but Rachel is doing a walking tour in Halifax again, Anne Lister's Halifax, and that will also be on Wednesday afternoon, and that's at 2 till 4, so that's also on Anne Lister's birthday. We have some of you who were here before last year. We have a very rare opportunity to visit the library tower at Shibden Hall, and this is really exciting because those of you who know Shibden will know that usually that is part of the hall that is not open to the public. You can walk around any of the hall, but of course you can't access the library tower except during the Anne Lister birthday festival. So on Tuesday the 2nd and on Thursday the 4th of April, you'll see in the event guide, just have a look at it and read it carefully. It is self-explanatory, but you'll see there are 2 slots, both 9 till 11. The first slot, 9 till 11, is the Walker Pit Walk, followed by the Shibden Tower opening. The second one, 9 till 11, is the Shibden Hall Tower opening, followed by the Walker Pit Walk. And that's only because of capacity within the hall. So it's the same tour, but it's swapped over. So 9 till 11, the first group, if you like, will be doing the hall first, followed by the walk. And the second group will be doing the walk first, followed by the hall. So just have a look at it and decide which ticket you want to purchase with your friends.
Rachel, I want to point out one thing to everybody, although you'll find out about all this detail when you go into the guide. Unlike last year, this is not a coach tour. You're going to be able to get up to Shibden Hall on your own. There may be, we're working on some other things as well, but you will not be paying for that coach to go up there. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's right. Just on that, Pat, you rightly said we are working on a couple of things. Again, those of you that have been here before will know that we have had a shuttle bus the last couple of years. I am really pulling out all the stops I can to make sure that we A, have a shuttle bus, and B, the hop on hop off bus that takes you around Halifax, but also that it will take you to these places that you want to get to for the times that you want to get to them for. So my plan would be that it would get to Shibden for the 9 o'clock start, for example, and we're working on that as we speak. So just keep following the Anne Lister of Halifax.co.uk website. Obviously, Pat will be very aware of it, so it'll go on to ALBW chat as well. We'll keep you informed. the very worst case scenario, there are public buses that take you right past the entrance to Shibden Hall, and a taxi from the centre of town is probably only going to cost you £5-6 each way. So if there's 3 or 4 of you, it's really not going to cost you very much at all. So to get to Shibden, and of course you can always walk up Old Bank, go up Old Bank in Lister's footsteps if you're able, and actually take in the wonderful views sort of Halifax that way. Walk in her footsteps, you can walk to Shibden. She didn't used to get the bus or a taxi, so Shibden is quite accessible. And then of course, Pat, finally, I think we'll just mention, you've talked so much about community, which is really what all this is about. Of course, it's all about us all being together in that place, that Anne Lister, where she was born, of course, where, you know, sort of she spent so much of her life and did actually like going back to, I do believe, and that is community. And of course, on her birthday again, we have the annual flower laying event, which we look forward to celebrating when we can all be together. And I know probably 2 or 3 of those events I've mentioned happen to be on her birthday, but we have events right through from starting at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock on Monday the 1st in the morning, going through till the afternoon of Monday the 8th. So we have a whole series of events happening all week, and we just can't wait to see everybody here in Halifax for the Anne Lister Birthday Festival.
Well, Rachel, I thank you for coming on today, and I certainly thank you for all of the work that you've put in. I mean, we both know exactly what it takes to make this all come together. So well done, you.
No, thank you. And Pat, you know that it takes a team. You know, I know how hard Cheryl behind the scenes, and she'll hate me for this, but sorry, Cheryl, how hard, you know, we're the ones who kind of public face of it, if you like, but we have fantastic teams of people behind us, our Calderdale partners. You know, I've had fantastic help from within my brilliant Year of Culture team within Calderdale, who have helped me with the website and with the design on the those graphics that you've seen, the at a glance guide and so on. I couldn't do it a single bit of this without them. So, you know, thank you to everyone that has made this happen. And now we just look forward to welcoming you all to Halifax, whether you're from Halifax in England, whether you're Halifax, Nova Scotia, or wherever you are in the world, you'll be welcome. I can't wait to see you all.
Okay. Well, thank you, Rachel. And we'll catch up a little later on. Be well. Have a great day. Okay. Now, the third leg of our stool, the Anne Lister Society. And to talk about the Anne Lister Society for this year, we have the convener, Professor Lori Shannon. Come on in, Lori.
Hello, Pat. Hello, everyone. Greetings from snowy Chicago today.
Wonderful, wonderful. So tell us a little bit about what's going on at ALS this year, Lori.
First, I'm going to be a little repetitive with Rachel to give public thanks to Pat, most of all, without whom this never happens, ALS included. And of course, also to Cheryl, who has saved us from so many missteps. It's a miracle. And to Rachel, too, for her constantly good counsel, as we all sort of get our oars in the right rhythm and all pull in the same direction increasingly. Couple of things I want to say about ALS this year. We're going to try out, we have, first of all, more presenters than last year. Last year we had more presenters than the first year. This is also our third convening. And this year we're also going to be experimenting a little bit with some other formats. Particularly excited to be collaborating with the West Yorkshire Archive Service on one session and one workshop, and I'll talk about that in more detail in a second, with Shibden Hall. Also, Angela Clare is participating this year. So on the one hand, we have some of the people who've literally been working on Anne Lister the longest, and we have independent researchers presenting, and we have some very early career scholars who are also going to be in the mix. So again, this is just kind of a dream come true in terms of Sally's original mission for the ALS, which was serious conversation about Anne Lister, sustained conversation about Anne Lister. I guess my piece as an academic also is to emphasize that we are building new knowledge about Anne Lister, all of us together, and with the main goal of not just spreading it at the Anne Lister Society meetings, but having lots of cross-pollination actually occur between presenters and those who are attending our sessions. So first of all, I'll mention our two keynote speakers this year, both of whom are big favorites of the Listerverse audience by now. I'm thrilled to say that our conference will kick off with the first keynote from Reverend Jane Finn. Many of you know Jane personally. She was the curate at Halifax Minster when all of us began taking pilgrimages. We didn't even know why, and Jane was the one who received us. Jane's going to kick off the conference with a keynote that will address the theology of Anne Lister and questions of human sexuality, coming out of her master's degree work. So we, anyway, pulled her out of Wales, where she's posted now, and she will get us started literally on Friday the 5th, the first day of ALS. Bookending the conference, another Listerverse favorite, Stephen Turton, who first presented with ALS his first year just on a panel. Stephen's at Cambridge University, and Stephen's talk is entitled delectably, Queer to Queer, Lister in Conversation with Her Peers. So those are the keynotes that will bookend ALS on our 2 days. Kind of at the midpoint, we're experimenting with the roundtable form. So there's a keynote roundtable at the end of Friday, and some of you who were at in Halifax last year will know that Oxford University Press reached out to me about the huge project, which is a complete scholarly in-print and online edition, a formal edition of the complete Anne Lister diaries. And this is a Mount Everest, and we are just at base camp on this, but the archive, Calderdale Council, Sally Wainwright, and I have been in intense conversations about how we get this project launched. It's invited at Oxford University Press, the biggest press for English print culture in the world. And that roundtable will involve the beloved Helena Whitbread, and we'll be talking with Helena about some parts of her work that really haven't come to the fore, her work as an editor. Dan Sudran is also coming back. As many of you, as all code breakers know, Dan was the initiator of the transcription project that makes this possible. And Jenny Wood will also participate in this roundtable, greatly beloved of all code breakers and me. And I will also participate, and we're going to talk about some of the brass tacks of how you shepherd this manuscript, which is gorgeously semi-legible, into a consumable text for readers who aren't going to be focused on transcription. In addition, Jill Liddington is going to be speaking with us this year, which I'm really excited about. The workshop that the archive is providing, that's Ruth Cummins and Stephanie Davidson. Invite you all to that. That's going to explore copyright and the reuse of Anne Lister materials. Copyright in the US is bat crazy. Copyright in the UK is equally crazy, and they're completely different. So this will be a good primer for people who are interested in that kind of, like, what is the way to handle the Anne Lister materials? This will be the definitive answer. We have our usual panels. One on Anne Lister, the ladies of Llangollen and Brontes. One on Eliza, Maria, and Anne, of diverse relations. One called Anne Lister and the Arts of Passage. And the last panel is Lister's Textual Husbandry, Reader, Indexer, and Coder. So anyway, we're all, some people are returning, lots of people are new. Formats are a little different than they were last time. Everybody's really, really excited to get to Halifax and keep on building knowledge about Anne. One thing that I'd like to leave this audience knowing is that obviously, this is a precious opportunity for conversation between people who are variously invested in Ann Lister research. I know I've gotten such great feedback from people who were in the audience in the other 2 years, which I really appreciate hearing and taking to heart. And what folks who show up and hear these papers need to know is that it's an equally precious experience for the most pinheaded academic in the world, because, you know, I'm used to going to a conference and I've got my paper ready to go, and there might be 5 people in the audience. 2 of them read the program wrong. They're on their phone. This is an occasion like no other for anybody who is researching Ann Lister. And as I tell the scholars in particular, before we really before their papers are done, I'll tell everyone to remember this audience not only is the most invested audience you will ever experience in your academic career, it's also an audience prepared to challenge you, because there are a number of points on which there are going to be people here who know more than you do, because everybody knows different things, of course. So what I want to make really clear is everybody who's on one side of the podium is looking for the unique opportunity to hear back from the super, super treasure of an audience that these meetings provide for us as well. So that's my spiel
there you go.
This year.
Well, it's really exciting, Lori, and as one of the founders of ALBW, Cheryl being the other one, it's really exciting to me that we have this particular segment, and I don't think we've ever really given it the oomph in our guide, et cetera, that we are this year. You're going to see the entire program in the guide, but I'm just delighted about it and really excited about what you have going on. The other thing that I want to add on to that is there will be a reception on Friday night following the first day of the Ann Lister Society, where the 3 of the founders of the Ann Lister Society, myself, Lori, and Sally Wainwright, will be present, and Sally and Lori will be able to answer questions about what's happening, what's going on, and I'll just be sitting there fangirling. So there you have it. But thank you for coming in, Lori. I greatly appreciate it, and I really appreciate the work that you're doing with ALS. So
wouldn't be possible but without you and the team. And so thanks everybody for listening, and can't wait to see you all in Halifax.
Yeah, I'll see you in Halifax, Lori. Okay, now, so you've been hearing a lot about all these things that are going on in all these different directions, et cetera. So how are you going to navigate all of this? Well, that's what we're going to talk about now. First and foremost, for those of you in the audience who have never been to ALBW before, I know that it may feel a little daunting. I hear from people all the time. People direct message me, which you are welcome to do, by the way, wanting to know if they come by themselves, how will they get to meet people, or how will they navigate this whole thing? Well, we do our best to take great care of that. First of all, we have a team of volunteers that has been, actually, they've been working with us now for all 3 years. And Mandy Meller has been leading that charge for the last 2 years. She's working on getting that team together right now. So you'll see people around in red coats that'll be happy to give you information. But right from the get-go, on Wednesday night, Wednesday day, the first day of ALBW, we will be running 3 separate icebreakers, and they're meant to specifically give people from different groups a chance to get to know each other. As you see on the screen, we have 3 of them. We have the Older, Wiser Lesbians group, which we call our Owls. We have our solos for those of you who are coming on your own but would like to meet some other people so that you can take part in the community. And finally, we have a new one this year that we're calling Shibden Rising. Azaria Journey is helping me with that. She's going to be leading that particular icebreaker. And that's for our group that's, let's say, 40 and below. So we do have a nice segment of folks that come that are younger. And we want to make sure that you're well taken care of and you understand what's happening, and that you don't have to just talk to old fogies like myself. Okay? So That icebreaker is going to be happening on Wednesday. Now, the other thing is that I want you to make sure of, especially if you're watching this and you've never been to ALBW before, whether you're a Facebook person or not, go to Facebook and sign up for ALBW chat. That is where we spend a lot of time. We announce most of our events there. We have lots of conversations going on. We ask the community to give us feedback on what they'd like to see and how they'd like it to happen. So it's your chance to really, number one, learn about ALBW. Number two, meet a lot of really wonderful people, and also to find out, what's going on and make connections before you even get to ALBW. So again, it's Facebook, ALBW chat. Facebook, ALBW chat. We also have a page, which is the Ann Lister Birthday Week page. That's a more formal thing. We announce things there, but chat is where you'll really get to meet people. And finally, the other thing you want to sign up for is our newsletter, the ALBW Diary. Cheryl's going to be on with me in a minute, and Cheryl, let's remember to give them that link for that. But we put this out now that we're running into ALBW. It'll come out probably about once a month, and it will give you news about the events, any changes that have happened, things you should look forward to, information about the town, all of that stuff comes to your mailbox. Read it at your leisure or whatever. So that's that. Now, let's talk about the event guide itself, because we've done a lot of work to make this easy for you. Excuse me. So Jen, let's put that, the first page of our roadmap up there, which talks about each day of ALBW. And let's leave this up here for a minute. Every day of ALBW is broken down into 3 columns. You will see specifically where ALBW events are happening, what time slots they're in. You'll see the time slot that the Ann Lister Society takes up, but you'll be looking at their program guide for who's going to be there. And you will see a general description of what ALBF Calderdale will be doing during that day. Now, you have to, okay, you can take that down now, Jen. We are 2 separate organizations, ALBW and ALBF. So we do not share a box office. We can't at this point. And you will need to go to each one of the box offices to pick out your tickets, but we're going to make it a little easier for you to decide, what day you're going to do it on and when. So let's put the image up there on our daily worksheet. This year, we've created for you a blank page, which you can make copies of for each of the days that you're planning on being at ALBW. It has the time slots in it. You can put in the event that you want to be purchasing tickets for in the time slot and see how it balances out with the other 2 columns. So let's take that one down. By the time you head in to the box office, and hold on a second, you will have taken that sheet that I just showed you, and you will transfer your ALBW events to our ticket worksheet. So let's show that one. So you'll have a ticket worksheet for when you head into our ALBW box office. This has been very popular with people for all 3 years of the events, because it allows you to sort out what it is you want to do, place it on your daily sheet. And most important, you can take that down now, Jen, is be ready for the box office. Veterans of ALBW know 2 things. Number one, our main desire for almost all of our events is to create intimate experiences where you're not in a crowd of 400 people. So our events, for example, the trifecta, I believe it's 25 people. As Rachel just said, the Shibden Hall event, I think hers is 30 people that's going on. So you want to make sure that you can get your ticket, because tickets do go quickly. So make sure that you're ready for the box office. So when you get in, you can purchase as rapidly as you can. When you start putting things in your cart, you do have 10 minutes to sort out everything else and come back and check out. It'll still be in your cart. Don't worry about it. But that happens, our ticket launch, and we're going to put a card up here in a minute with that. At the end of, we're going to put it up at the end. Our ticket launch is next Saturday, and that box office will open at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Excuse me, noon Eastern time, and 5 p.m. GMT, Greenwich Mean Time in the UK. So you can judge your own time zones off of that. But the box offices will open up. We are using Eventbrite. ALBF has a different source that they're using, but we are supplying you with all the links to get to both box offices. So don't worry, you'll know where you need to go and when you need to get there in order to buy those tickets. So that's the most important things I can tell you about the event guide. And so now I want to bring in my partner in crime, the person who really makes all the trains run, the wonderful Cheryl McDonald. Hello, Cheryl.
Hi, Pat. Hi, everyone.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. Well, I think we finally put this thing to bed, at least to the point we have to run it, which is always an adventure. I want to talk a little bit about a couple of things that our audience needs to know. First of all, when you get to Halifax, when the event starts, starting on Wednesday, our ALBW Central will be located in the Peace Hall. Now, if you look at the lower corner, the lower side of this photograph, you'll see that little tiny banner up there in the corner, but you'll see it up, and we're showing you what it looks like. That's where the K-Gill rooms are, and that's where ALBW Central is. Tell them a little bit about what happens there, Cheryl, in terms of what they can expect.
Well, the ALBW Central, like you mentioned earlier, Pat, is really going to be the place to be on that Wednesday. We'll be handing out our lanyards. Everyone will get a new, there we are, lanyards for ALBW 2024. And more importantly, this is where all of those icebreakers are going to be happening. So we have the K-Gill rooms open that entire day. This is where you can go meet up people who you've met in years previous. I see a lot of comments, and it's very exciting to see a lot of new people coming this year. So for all of the new people coming, head to those K-Gill rooms on that Wednesday. You're likely going to fit into a lot of groups. Maybe you're solo travel, maybe you're a solo owl traveler, maybe you're an owl. You could be
good rising.
Visit everybody all day. It's a really good time. The ALBW volunteers, as well as Pat or I, will be stationed there the entire day. If anyone has questions about anything, feel free to ask. Just chat with us. We've been doing this now for several years. A lot of people you'll see have been returning all these years. So it's a really exciting place to be, especially that first day, to get to know the lay of the land and to get to meet some amazing people.
Yeah, that's fun. And I don't know why this just jogged this in my head, but when you open the event guide, I want you to make sure that you look at some of the other things that are going on that are community oriented, like the Sunday roast, that's being run out of the ALBF side, but it's a chance to get together with the community and do a great British tradition of the Sunday roast. And you'll also find, as Cheryl said, the icebreakers are there. Our workshops are there. Anne and Anchoma and Helena Whitbread will be there. Kim Ely is going to be putting on a workshop up there called the Alphabet Soup LGBTQI, where we're going to be talking about gender questions, etc. Kim is a licensed therapist, or social worker, which is a really good idea for talking about this, I think. I'm looking forward to that, and I thank Kim for volunteering to do it. Also, Cheryl, we did something better this year when it comes to merchandise, didn't we?
Oh, we sure did. I think everyone's getting excited about this one, Pat.
Yeah. So why don't we put up that card, Jen? We have a store, and it's ready for you to go purchase your gear. There's the, and just let's hold that up there for a while. It's https shopalbw.com. We have a full selection of ALBW 24 gear for you, t-shirts, etc. So instead of going through the hassle of coming to the K-Gill rooms, trying things on and discovering that the thing that you ordered wasn't the right size, etc., you'll now be able to do it starting actually. Yeah, I think it's open today. Yes, when the event guide is posted, you'll also see the link to merchandise. So feel free to go in there. And by the way, Cheryl and I want to hear from you. If there are other things that you'd like to see on that website, we'll do our best to get them. It depends on what Printful, who is our supplier, what they have to offer us. But right, Cheryl?
Absolutely. I think what's really exciting about this is when we did these previously and we just printed off, certain numbers, we only had a couple of designs. So this really gives us an opportunity to put out several different designs. And sorry for everyone's wallets that just started crying. I'm looking at the comments over there. But we're able to offer a lot more designs, a lot more products, and it's going to be a lot more easier than getting in line in the K-Gill rooms to pick up your shirt. So we're really excited about this.
What we will have at the K-Gill rooms, for those of you who are collectors, is we will have our ALBW 24 cloisonne pin. So please do stop by there if you're interested in picking one up. And I, of course, did not prepare myself for this because I lost my lanyard. So I can't show you the one from last year, but it was really cute. It had the two hats of Ann Walker and Ann Lister. To celebrate Ann Walker as well, which we do always. We always have an Ann Walker Day, and we do have one this year. So you'll see that in the program guide. Anything else you can think of, Cheryl, between you and I?
No, I don't think so. I think that was the big one. Really, just talking about the new T-shirts and any questions that folks had. I did see a question come in about shipping cost to UK versus the US. You'll see that the store will be set up for both your ability to put in US prices as well as UK or any other monies that you might be paying in. And the shipping costs will be provided on that store as well. So based on what you buy will determine the shipping cost.
Right, right. So in a second here, I'm going to put up the card that has the links for the event guide, et cetera. But in the meantime, any of you that are out there right now, we are going to have a brief Q&A. We don't have a lot of time left, but if you have any questions, please type them into the comments section and we'll try to get to them with the last couple of minutes of this event. So please feel free to do that now if you feel like you have any questions. And if you don't get a chance to do that, if you're not doing this live right now, you can ask your questions at ALBW Chat on Facebook, and you can also direct message me. So I'm happy to answer questions for you as I can, okay? Now, in the meantime, get your phones ready because we're going to show you the link to where you're going to find the event guide, which is now going to be all ready right now for you to download so you can start digging in right away. So there's the QR code. If you want to train your camera on that, that will take you to the site. If you want to wait until later, it's the website address is right there. It's www.albweek.com. And what you're going to find on that website is you're going to find a downloadable version of our event guide. You're also going to find the link to the ALBF guide. So you'll be able to download that from their website. You'll also have a link to the box office for next Saturday. You can't purchase tickets right now. But next Saturday, that link will go live at noon. You won't find anything there. Even if you clicked through now, you wouldn't be able to get to it because it's shut down. So that'll be coming up. So let's just see if we wound up with any questions and look at that. Let's see. When does the box office open for ALBF, the Calderdale St. Ives September? Oh, I don't know when the Calderdale St. Ives September Festival opens. And Rachel, is Rachel still in the green room? Jen?
Hey.
Here we go. There she is.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
just heard the question actually, Pat, and that's do we think? I wonder if our friend there might have been talking about the Memorial Festival, possibly, because that's in September.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll read it exactly what it
Yeah,
says.
thanks.
When does the box office open for ALBF, the Calderdale St. Ives September Festival?
I don't know what the St. Ives part of that means, but obviously in September, not obviously because some people watching may not know, so forgive me. But in September, we also have another event in Calderdale, as some of you may know, and that's the Anne Lister Memorial events, which mark the anniversary of Anne Lister's death on the 22nd of September. So we will be having events for that again. Very different, of course, to the April programme, which is a very celebratory birthday festival, and the events for September will be announced probably in August time. So I'm not sure if that is what our friend there was referring to, but that's the only thing I can think of. That's the only event that we'll be having around that time. That will be the Memorial Weekend event somewhere around the 22nd of September.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. And then we have a question on will you ever be able to do a tour under Shibden? You mean in the tunnels? And I can, oh, look at you, Jennifer Van Gessel, you rock. To the best of our knowledge, you aren't going to be able to get down into the tunnels anytime soon. There's all sorts of challenges with that. And the question has been asked many times. So best to just ask when you get to Halifax and see if anybody has that. Let's see. Will there be any merch on sale on site? No, we are not planning on doing that, Mandy. We are trying to keep it all up on Shopify this year because it just really turns into a gigantic nightmare. So I hope that works for you. Will you have the larger XL sizes? Cheryl, we do, right?
We offer the entire range that the vendors offer. So we do have everything from extra small to, I believe it goes up to 5XL for a majority of the products. It does vary by each individual product, but we do offer the entire range.
Okay, and now here's another question. And Azariah, I know you're out there listening because I see you up here. And I wanted to have Azariah on today to chat a little bit, but unfortunately we were limited by the number of people we could actually have in our stream at one time. There's a question about, will there be specific events for Shibden Rising? Azariah Journey is the person who's coordinating the stuff for Shibden Rising. She'll be running that icebreaker. So that's the one very specific event where you can come and meet people. But the wonderful thing about ALBW, and this is in answer to Catherine Denoon's question, is that people are really wonderful about creating dinner opportunities, making plans to do the tours together, that kind of thing. And again, I urge you to sign up at ALBW Chat if you're interested in connecting prior to the event to try and see if you can get a group together, like to see, okay, who's going to do the Shibden Hall tour, et cetera. Feel free. It is a great place to have that conversation. So please feel free about that. Let's see. First timers coming from Vermont. Whoa, I'm glad you are. Hold on. Stop. Okay, I need to. Will there be an Anne Lister ball this year? There's not a ball. The music event at Shibden Hall is pretty much taking the place of that. It is a dress-up event, and I think it's the coolest thing ever because you're going to be in Shibden Hall at night with the lights down low as they would have been during the time, with music of Anne Lister's time playing, floating through that place, which I think is just bring your ghost meters. That's all I can say. So. Let's see. Is it best to go through a travel agency to figure out how to get to Halifax and where to stay? You can certainly go through a travel agency. We recently posted an ad on a site called Travel Gay. They have a link to a gay travel service. However, you can also learn a lot just through ALBW Chat. There's hundreds of people on that site that'll be more than happy to give you the best directions possible. And direct message me. I'm happy to talk to you about that stuff. Let's see. Any suggestions how to get Manchester Airport to Halifax? There is a train. Lucky you. You get to go right to Halifax direct. So I think it does it go through Leeds? Not sure, because I always come up from London, but won't be hard to figure out. Let's see. Azariah is saying you can make your own little community for sure. So don't worry, Shibden Risings. Will there be a pre-ALBW event in London this year? There will not, that to my knowledge. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I know that Jen was trying to put it together, but I don't think she got enough people signed up, did she?
Yeah, that's the last that we heard from Jen, was that there wasn't enough people interested in doing it this year.
Right. Then there's a question about, will there be a tour to York this year? Jen Grant from Diva Destinations, who in past years has put these together for ALBW, has been working on putting together a York tour using Sarah, the York guide that everybody has been so crazy about, with some really special entrances to places. So that is a side event. It's not ours. We are not running that event, which is why we can't tell you about it. But please go to ALBW chat, raise that question, and we will get that information for you. Cheryl, you have disappeared from the screen. Let's see. I think that yes. Judith Georges brought this up. O'Hooley and Tdow are performing at the Halifax Minster on Saturday night this year. Again, that is not our event. That is O'Hooley and Tdow's event. So you have to buy tickets through them. They wrote to us prior to us putting together ALBW this year to let us know that they wanted to do that. And we said, go with God. It is totally yours to do, because being the middleman is really, not the most fun thing in the world when it comes to tickets. I think that we are done with the questions. So, and we have certainly run out of time by 3 minutes, but I want to thank each and every person that took part in this event today. Gemma Jacobs, Cheryl McDonald, who I can't stop thanking enough ever, Rachel Lappin, and Lori Shannon. And I want to thank each and every one of you who have tuned in, and especially those of you who are tuning in now on our YouTube channel. Please feel free to check this out later. There we'll be posting the link at ALBW chat, as well as on other forms of social media. You'll see that link pop up. So in the meantime, I want to say thanks to the entire team. I want to thank Jen Van Gessel, as always, my producer. And finally, I want to thank you for tuning in. And I really want to thank you for showing up, because believe me, there is nothing like strolling across the Peace Hall during ALBW and seeing all of your clan out there with their lanyards on, which is why we give these lanyards, so that you can know who's out there, and coming together in a way that creates that fabulous sense of community. So without further ado, I will see you in Halifax. Be well.